Nike is dumping shamed cyclist Lance Armstrong. The sportswear maker says there is, quote, insurmountable evidence, end quote, that he took part in doping. Armstrong just stepped down prior to that as the chairman of his charity, Livestrong. Pedro Pinto joins me now from London. Pedro, a series of developments this morning, very important. Tell me what you make of them.
Well, I make, honestly, Ali, that Lance Armstrong's world has started to crumble, and it has done so over the last week. This is a huge development, both on the sponsorship side and on the foundation side. We heard about an hour ago that he was stepping down as chairman of his foundation, Livestrong, which has raised hundreds of millions of dollars for cancer research since 1997, when it was founded. And then the bombshell, Nike, the company that has stood by him throughout his career, that only 6 days ago released a statement saying they were standing by Lance Armstrong even after the United States Anti-Doping Agency released the report, which included testimonials from 26 people, including 11 former teammates of the cyclist, saying that they saw him use doping during his career. Whereas they stood by him last week, they're not doing so now. And I'd like to bring you up to date with the statement they released just a few minutes ago, which we were able to confirm due to the seemingly insurmountable evidence that Lance Armstrong participated in doping and misled Nike for more than a decade. It is with great sadness that we have terminated our contract with him. Why is this most significant as well, Ali? Because Nike has stood by previously disgraced sports athletes. I can remember when they stood by Kobe Bryant after the Lakers guard was charged with sexual assault back in 2003. They also stood by Tiger Woods when the scandal erupted about all his extramarital affairs in 2009. So this is a huge move by Nike that has contributed hundreds of millions of dollars to Lance Armstrong throughout his career and to his foundation as well. His world is officially crumbling right now.
And they just put out a statement. They re-released a statement on October 10th, but prior to this, where Nike said, we're saddened that Lance Armstrong may no longer be able to participate in certain competitions and his titles appear to be impacted. Lance has stated his innocence and has been unwavering in his position. Nike plans to continue to support Lance and the Lance Armstrong Foundation, a foundation that Lance created to serve cancer survivors. This was just a few days ago, and they faced a great deal of protest. So there's this tipping point that you know about more than I do, Pedro, where these companies understand that people still buy the product because of these names, and Lance Armstrong and Tiger Woods and Kobe Bryant had their supporters, and there were still kids who liked them. And then there's this tipping point where public opinion turns against these companies if they don't make the right decision. So this was an absolute about-face by Nike.
Ali, I interviewed Lance Armstrong after he won his third straight Tour de France, and I can tell you, as a journalist, it was one of the high points, because you look at Lance Armstrong like an idol, and many people have over the last decade, if not for longer than that. I think after the report came out last week by USADA with sordid details of how Lance and his teammates transformed hotel rooms into blood transfusion centers, how he was not only using doping but convincing other riders to do the same to help his own cause. The amount of evidence that was portrayed by all the testimonials in this report was so overwhelming, and the pressure on Nike as a company to not be associated with that kind of image was so great that they had to do something about it. I think what's really interesting now, Ali, and especially in the States, it's quite common to see these sports athletes come out and give the mea culpa speech and cry and say, I didn't mean to and I didn't know what I was doing. I wonder if this is coming for Lance now, because he was really strong and he continued to say, I'm innocent, but I don't know where this is going to go from now. He has to do something.
And he refers to the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency and their pursuit of him as a witch hunt. We should just clarify for our viewers, he is stepping down as chairman of Livestrong, which is the brand that the Lance Armstrong Foundation is known for. He will maintain some involvement. He just will not lead the organization.